Hey there, all you beautiful souls. I hope your day has been absolutely fantastic. It's a pleasure to have you back for yet another exciting episode of Naruto, Students of the Snake. Jiraiya and Tsunade were supposed to be the ones to watch over Naruto. What if that responsibility fell to Orochimaru instead? How will this affect both of them, and others? How will it affect Konoha? If you guys enjoyed this what if, comment down below and let me know. And go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel. After watching this video, don't forget to pay a visit to the author of this captivating fanfiction and show them some love. You'll find the link waiting for you down in the description. Before we get into it though, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So let's start this video. Team training with Anko could probably best be described as voluntary torture. No matter what exercise she had her students learn, she always found a way to make it potentially lethal to them. The tree walking technique, which all three already knew before they even graduated, had a barrage of kunai thrown at them with venomous snakes hidden in the trees as well. The water walking exercise, which was new to them and taught in the second week, was pretty much the same thing. Then she made them try it on a moving current. Anko almost refused to let them do any D-rank missions. She kept insisting their time could be better used to focus on training directly rather than indirectly. But she did let them try one at least once a week to give them some money to have fun with. Hinata and Isaribi didn't mind too much because it gave them both a chance to be around their favorite guy. And while Isaribi felt she couldn't be with him the way she wanted to, she was at least glad she was on his team rather than another of his fangirls. After their 11th day of training, where they were all expected to use kunais to hit targets while they were upside down, while said targets fired Samban back at them. Anko was really hardcore when it came to training apparently. But afterwards, with a small amount of injuries, Hinata and Isaribi had a moment alone. Naruto was currently spending some time with Taiya since he enjoyed giving her some company while she guarded one of Oto's gates. She also enjoyed his company too, as he was the only one to make her laugh and appreciated her dirty jokes. Hinata and Isaribi were relaxing in the pool of the tower, both wearing bikinis since that's all they had in an effort to catch Naruto's eye. And both were orange too, although they kept saying it was just coincidence. At the moment Hinata was just floating lazily on her back while Isaribi was swimming around completely submerged, just the way she liked it. When Isaribi came up for air, which seemed like once every 5 minutes but was more like every 3, Hinata decided to bring up the issue on her mind. "Hey Isaribi-chan, got a moment?" "Sure Hinata-chan." "What's up?" "Well, a while ago me and Narukun were told to do something by the council and Otakage-sama. It involves getting 8 other girls into the plan. And you're the first girl I can think of that might enjoy this." Hinata explained with a small embarrassed blush. "Oh, does this involve your little harem?" Isaribi asked. Hinata practically face-faulted in the water. "What?" she asked after she coughed up the water she almost swallowed. "How did you? Your little sister told me. Apparently she overheard you and your mother talk about sharing Naruto-kun with others, and spied on you again when you talked to him about it. She then got me and a few other girls together and told us all." Isaribi explained. "I should have known Naruto-chan would have been too curious to really stay out of this." Hinata thought semi-bitterly. "So I'm actually the first girl you're approaching for this?" Isaribi asked. "Gotta admit I'm flattered and tempted." "Just tempted?" Hinata asked. "I'd have thought she'd be begging for this. I'm not against the idea. Believe me, I'm willing to tolerate sharing. But to be honest, I don't really want to unless Naruto-kun himself asks me to be a part of this group. Unless he does, I'll kind of feel like I'm just there to do a job and not because he cares about me. You know he cares about you. Heck, he goes swimming with you almost every morning because you like it so much." Hinata stated. "I know. But I want him to be the one to make the offer, not you. Do you understand?" Isaribi asked. "Yeah, I do." "So, who were the other girls Amuro-chan told?" Isaribi scanned her memory. Besides me there was Kintsuchi, Haku Momochi, Sasami Fuma, and Futakino." All the girls we mentioned that night. Sounds like she's playing matchmaker rather than just eavesdropping. Hinata thought. "Oh, one more thing. I'm not sure if you already heard this, but your sister said she wanted a spot in the group too." Isaribi added. "What?" Hinata asked. Sure, she knew her younger sister gave the blonde boy the same sort of looks Hinata did, but Hinata always figured it was some sort of silly kid crush and nothing more. She can't be serious. She didn't look like she was joking to me, but she's only 10. Weren't you 9 when you first kissed Naruto-kun and told him you loved him? Isaribi countered. Are you actually in favor of the idea? Hinata asked. I don't really have an opinion on the subject. Let's face it, the odds aren't in her favor, so there's no reason to fret over it. Isaribi answered. I guess you're right. Although there is a chance that Naruto might be interested in that kinda dash. Don't you dare. Hinata warned. Isaribi laughed. Alright, now that that's settled, I'm going to go back to what I was doing. Isaribi said before taking a deep breath and submerging herself. Hinata started doing a few breaststrokes for no particular reason. For some reason I get the feeling that Isaribi-chan won't have to wait too long. Meanwhile, Naruto was sitting next to Tayuya at the northern gate keeping an eye out for trouble, all the while eating some ramen and making semi-inappropriate small talk. He usually did this with her at least once a week since she was the funnest Alto member to be around. And she enjoyed it too, enough that she actually bothered to tone down her language around him a bit. For those that knew Tayuya, that was saying a lot. Hey Tayuya-chan, can I ask you something? Naruto asked as he set his empty ramen bowl down. Sure, Naruto. What's on your mind? The redhead told him. Have you already been told anything about me from Ji-san? He asked to start things out. Tayuya was part of a special branch of the Altos known as the Sound 5. Their main jobs being operating the sound defense system, and if need be defend the Sannin, and all who reside in the Otakage Tower. So he figured there was a chance she was already informed about his predicament. No. Why? Was I supposed to? Let's just say something's come up, and it's got me confused. I'd love to hear an unbiased opinion. He explained. Sure. I'll help you out. She told him to build up his nerve. Basically, in a nutshell, I'm being ordered to have children with 9 women someday. Naruto said quickly to get it over with. For a moment Tayuya was silent, but then the dam burst. You've gotta be fucking kidding me? Really? Why? Because of my multiple Kekkei Genkais. If I have children with 9 women, then I can create 9 clans for Oto. Makes sense? So, who are the lucky ladies? Naruto sighed. So you think this is a good idea too? You don't? Fuck Naruto-kun, most men would give up a nut to be in a situation like this. Being told to bang several different girls and having it be legal and allowed by the women too? Fuck Naruto-kun, I always knew you were a decent man, but maybe you're too decent for your own damn good. Tayuya replied. I'm willing to try it out. I mean, I do understand the reasoning behind it all, and Hina-chan is willing to try it too. Naruto defended. Tayuya arched an eyebrow at him. Then what exactly do you need my opinion on? How exactly do I attract more girls? And how do I keep them satisfied and taken care of once I have them? He asked. I mean, I need to treat them well so they'll want to stay and feel special. And once they have the kids, I'll need to help raise them and care for the mothers as well. How can I do that with 9 women when sometimes one sounds like a huge job? On the outside, Tayuya just smiled warmly. But on the inside, she was practically cheering praise for the blonde. Wow. He actually already knows having several women like that won't be just a 24/7 orgy. And he wants to cater to them all like a decent person would? All of a sudden I'm hoping he's not put off by older women, even if the age difference is only 4 years. Well, Naruto-kun, when it comes to attracting more girls, I'd say do what worked to get you your girlfriend since it worked so well. As for keeping them satisfied, and I'm assuming you mean outside the bedroom too here, treat them like you treat your girlfriend. Basically just go with what you already know works, just on a group. I have a feeling you can handle it even though it does sound tough. At hearing that, Naruto looked a little more at ease. Thanks Tayuya-chan. I'll try my hardest. Got an opening for me? Tayuya joked, and laughed when Naruto face faulted. I'm kidding Naruto-kun, but I wouldn't be offended if you considered the idea later on. Do I really even have to look for girls, or will they end up coming to me? Naruto asked himself somewhat nervously. Some more time went by and more grueling training went on for Naruto's team. So far, he had yet to approach any other girls about the prospect of joining his little group. And Hinata hadn't bothered at all since she felt the other girls would prefer it if he did instead, like Isaribi. She did consult her sister though first chance she got, and she still wasn't sure if Hanabi was serious or just joking. The hardest part was telling her no in a way that couldn't be refuted. For a young girl, Hanabi was a surprisingly good debater. On one particular day, Anko decided her team could do a mission instead of training. I think you guys just might be ready for a C rank by now. Think we really are ready? Isaribi whispered to Naruto as they walked to the mission assigning room. If we can handle Nechan's exercises, we can handle anything, he replied. Anko surprised them by taking them directly to Orochimaru's office rather than the general room to get assignments. Hey Ji-san. My team's ready for a C rank. Got any good ones for them? You sure about that? He asked. At her grinning nod, he checked his records of ones he didn't already give out. Oh, here's one that might prove interesting to you. But I need to explain it all before you accept or not. Go on. Okay, a small nation southeast of here called Land of Waves is the destination. I was immediately suspicious since Konoha is the closest village and the one they were most likely to hire for something like this. Apparently the client is someone who's connected on a bridge building project and fears something horrible will happen to the bridge and everyone working on it. They asked for non-Leafnine help because they feared the threat might be prepared for Leafnine. Makes sense. Tell me, how did they hear of this village? Anko asked. The client is downstairs so you can ask them directly. Wait. Someone from outside is actually here in Oto? Naruto asked. Orochimaru nodded. Yes. So keep an eye out on the client in case this is some sort of setup to draw some of our forces out and see how we work. Assuming we accept it, that is. Anko reminded the snake Sannin. True. Also, given what we've learned from Jiraiya's spy network, it would appear that a tycoon named Gato is basically draining the country dry like some sort of economic vampire, although technically nothing he does can be considered illegal. Or if it can, then it can't legally be traced back to him. This request would give the nation a way to recover. But I personally think it will only truly work if Gato was eliminated, because he could still find a way to destroy the completed bridge if he wasn't. So the mission is simply return the client home safely, guard the construction workers, assist in construction if possible and necessary, and try to lure this man out for extermination? Anko asked to clarify. Orochimaru nodded. She smiled wickedly and turned to face her students. You guys game? I'm up for it. Naruto answered confidently. If he is, I am. Hinata added. Isaribi just shrugged nonchalantly. Sure. Why not? Orgite then, go get ready for it. Pack what I told you and meet me at the front door in 20 minutes. Anko told them all before they went off. Once they were gone, she turned back to Orochimaru. Not to doubt you, Ji-san, but this sounds more appropriate for a B rank mission than C rank. Are you sure it's marked correctly? Technically, yes. The official mission is just guard duty, something your team could easily handle. The other stuff I told you, like eliminating the threat completely, is just an extra voluntary objective. But a rather significant one if you asked me. Okay. And how likely do you think is the chance of Konoha shinobi being in the area too? Anko asked, not wanting her team to deal with any if avoidable. Very likely. But surely nothing you can't handle by now. Orochimaru answered, understanding his goddaughter's unease perfectly. Okay, I'll still let my team give this one a shot. And I'll make sure not to risk starting a war with Konoha. But if they don't do the same, then no promises I won't enjoy myself. Anko stated. Orochimaru smiled. I would be worried if you said anything else, Anko-chan. Anko's team regrouped in the central room of the Otakage Tower, and Anko brought along the client so her students could meet them. It turned out the client was a young woman, not quite at middle age yet but on the receding edge of her prime, accompanied by a short boy with a fisher's hat on. Both had dark hair and eyes and light-colored clothes, but the woman looked desperate while the boy looked disturbed. Everyone, this is the client and her son. Her name's Tsunami and the kid's name is Inari. Anko told her 3 genin, who gave the guests polite smiles and waves. Anko then faced the 2 from Wave. I'm Anko Midarashi, the senior ninja. The one boy is my Ototo Naruto Uzumaki, the girl with the jacket is Hinata Hibiki, and the last member here is Isaribi Meikai. Nice to meet you all. I'm glad my son and I can get home safely now thanks to your help. Tsunami politely said to them all. Inari just silently scoffed, as if he didn't believe that, but nobody mentioned it. By the way, team, Anko added. Otakage-same told me that due to the uncertain nature of this mission, he's got another team assigned to work with us. I hope you can cooperate with them. Which team? Hinata asked. She was wearing a blue pair of contact lenses now, so no one could tell she had a Byakugan. Last year's all Kunoichi team led by Kurenai-chan. They'll be briefed on the mission momentarily and then we head out. Anko answered. Naruto raised his eyebrows in surprise, while Hinata and Isaribi shared a look and a thought. Kurenai taught Haku, Sasami, and Fu, who became a permanent member of Oto a few years ago. That team had one more year of experience than their own team, and was doing quite well considering that most villages didn't assemble all Kunoichi teams. Usually because the leaders feared that an all Kunoichi team would be a tempting target for outlaws. One too tempting to pass up. 2 teams? Is the situation that bad? Tsunami asked, worried for her safety and her son's. Otakage-sama has reason to believe the mission may call for a little extra muscle later on. We will escort you back home, but once we're there we'll need to investigate the threat to your country as to ensure you won't need us again anytime soon. Anko explained. Unlike others, we ninja try to do the job so that we and the customer don't need repeat business. Hinata added. Any idea what to do while we wait? Naruto asked. Hinata pulled out a deck of cards. Better than nothing. 10 minutes later, Anko's team and Kurenai's team were heading towards the eastern gate of Oto. All of them were wearing their hatayatesh, since they were now allowed to show off which village they were loyal to. They were quickly arranged so Kurenai's team were in front of the clients while Anko's were in back, because as the more experienced unit Kurenai's team could act quicker. Couldn't we in a wagon or something? Tsunami asked, not really liking the idea of walking all the way back to Wave. In fact, the entire trip from Wave to Rice was done by wagon, so she naturally assumed the trip back would be no different. We could, but we don't want to draw attention to ourselves. If you get tired we can still provide you a lift though. Kurenai told her. How? Inari asked curiously. Either we can carry you, or one of my close friends can. Anko answered. But for now, let's start out with a nice walk and enjoy the weather. Why can't we start with a ride? Inari asked. Trust me kid, you don't want to start this trip the way she meant. Kurenai answered. Why can't we use the way we got here? Inari asked his mother. How exactly did you get here by the way? Isaribi asked. I mean, it's not like our village is on any map. It's a long story. Tsunami replied. It's going to be a long trip, so why not? Naruto added. Okay then. You see, our country's economy is doing really bad lately due to a corrupt businessman. Tsunami started. The daimyo of your country has been sympathetic to our trouble and secretly sending us money and supplies so we don't go completely broke. A little while ago, I noticed something disturbing and asked the people who brought us imports from here if they could get in touch with someone who could do something about it. They offered to bring me and my son directly here so we could plead our case to you. Anko and Kurenai shared a look before returning their gaze to the young mother. Is that all? Yes. Why? Do you not believe me? Oh, it sounds believable, but it also sounds like you're omitting something. Kurenai answered. The fact that you asked do you not believe me so soon shows that too. Anko pointed out. Tsunami sighed and looked skyward for a moment, making everyone stop in their tracks, waiting to hear what she'd say next. There is something more. You see, the disturbing thing I noticed was what looked like a group of ninja in an area I didn't think they were supposed to be. And they probably noticed me too. That's why I asked the import bringers to take me and my son away from there for a while so we could be safe. I didn't want to risk them attacking us at home that night. All present ninjas shared looks amongst themselves, primarily with their own teams, but not limited to just that. Would you happen to have seen any identifying symbols on these ninja? Anko asked. Tsunami nodded and pulled out a piece of paper. I drew one down. Anko looked at it and scowled. Definitely Konoha's mark. I was afraid of that. You see, not too long before that, my father went to Land of Fire to get some help for the bridge project he's working on. He also said he would try and get some ninja cheaply if he could. Tsunami continued sadly. Only help he'd get is from Konoha, who apparently have some shady business there already. Kurenai commented. Yeah. I thought of that but didn't know what else to do. And I think he might bring them to our home as well. I'm worried that may only make this situation worse. Anko sighed. Alright, change of plans. We need to get to Wave as quickly as possible, preferably within the next day or so. That's impossible. Fu stated. Not really. We have one way that could work. Anko told everyone, then pointed to Naruto. Me? How can I get everyone across 2 countries and a sea in a day or so? He asked. Simple. Use your gravity control to make us all fly that way as fast as you can. Anko told him with a confident smile. That sounds like a great idea, Fu said with a pleased grin. Naruto had once taken his friends for a flight with that Kekkei Genkai, and she was probably the one who most enjoyed it. The fact that her Bija had wings might be a factor in that though. Flying? How can you do that? Inari asked, sounding and looking for the first time something rather than irritated. Right now, he was more intrigued than anything else. It's one of my many skills. And it could work, but the problem is I can only use it for so long. Naruto answered carefully. Among all of Naruto's Kekkei Genkais, all shared a common weakness. He could only use each one for at most 9 consecutive minutes, and once that time was up it automatically shut off, needing 9 consecutive seconds before he could reactivate it or switch to a different one. And the 9-second wait was mandatory even if he voluntarily deactivated the bloodline he was using. Most likely his children wouldn't have either of those problems according to the Kyuubi. There were more weakness to his abilities, but they varied amongst the individual Kekkei Genkais and were only present when he was using them. So go as far as you can in the time you can, take a break, and then start up again, Fu told him. But make sure we're back on the ground before you stop. Sasami added. Is there really no better alternative? Isaribi asked, for she was afraid of heights. Sadly no. We need to hurry and this is for the best. Anko told her student. Fine. But if I have to do this, then at least let me ride on Naruto-kun's back so I'll feel safer. Isaribi demanded. Yeah, I'm sure that's the only reason. Several present girls thought sarcastically. Naruto turned to show his back. Hop on Isaribi-chan. She wrapped her arms around him and he wrapped his own to hold her in place. Everyone ready? You might want to hold on to your own son for this, ma'am. Kurenai warned Tsunami, who quickly held him to her maternally. You don't get vertigo or motion sickness, do you? Tsunami shook her head negatively. Okay, we should be clear. Gotcha. Naruto replied, then activated his Kekkei Genkai. Everyone around him suddenly became weightless, and then he made them start to hover. He started out slowly to give the clients a chance to handle the new experience. Fortunately, they weren't freaking out, but did look unnerved. Hoping to get the shock over with for them, he got everyone above the trees and made them go forward about as fast as falcons could fly. Tsunami's main thoughts on this were, is there anything ninja can't do? While Inari's was, I'm actually flying. This is awesome. Everyone seemed to be enjoying themselves but Isaribi, who kept her face buried in Naruto's hair and her arms and legs tight as clamps around her ride's body. Naruto meanwhile couldn't help but notice the fact that her chest was pressing nicely into his back, but wasn't sure if that was intentional or not. The trip went well but not quickly, with Naruto not reaching maximum speed for the sake of the civilians. He did eventually go higher to avoid the risk of being seen, and everyone kept an eye on the time limit, lest they plummet to the ground. Tsunami was initially frightened for the first 2 times, but by the 3rd time she got more relaxed and was actually able to enjoy it a bit. Not quite as much as Fu, who kept asking for Naruto to let them do some barrel rolls and loops for fun but kept getting turned down. 3 hours later they had reached the shore of Land of Fire, and the small stretch of sea that separated them from Wave Country. Can I take a break? I'm a bit tired, Naruto complained. No problem. We can take it from here, Otsuto, Anko answered. The next moment a couple of giant snakes were summoned, frightening Tsunami and Inari quite a bit. It's alright, these guys won't bite. Besides, they're constrictors so they're not poisonous even if they did. That's not funny, sensei. Hinata told Anko as she and several others climbed onto one of the snake's back. You actually get along with snakes? Tsunami asked fearfully. You bet. In fact, one of my best friends growing up was a snake. Anko answered, then summoned her personal summons Kogaiku along with Naruto's old snake Sango. Once the 2 kids under Orochimaru's care became old enough to defend themselves, Manda ordered the 2 snakes to be returned, but allowed them to be personal summons for Anko once she signed the snake contract. Why don't you say hi? Hello? Tsunami said meekly. Hey Sango, long time no see. Naruto said with much enthusiasm to the orange and black snake, which slithered over to him so he could pet her. Things still going well for you, kid? Sango asked. It talked? Inari asked in surprise. All the summoned snakes turned to face the boy, without menace, but it still scared him. "Did you think we summoned plain, ordinary snakes, kid?" Anko asked. "Come on, let's get going." Kurenai told everyone. Tsunade and Inari got settling on one of the big snakes, and they started swimming to the island country. "Wow, that's one big bridge," Naruto whispered as the sight of a large unfinished bridge came into view from the fog surrounding the area at the time. "Bet it will look better when it's done," Hinata whispered while she held onto him from behind. Isaribi meanwhile was looking into the water from her position on the front of the snake they were riding. "Wish I could go for a quick swim. Guess I can wait a bit longer." Naruto, Hinata, and Isaribi were riding one snake while Haku, Fu, and Sasami were riding another, both teams creating a defense around the snake that was carrying Anko, Kurenai, Tsunade, and Inari. So far there were no problems other than a lot of mist, which had Hinata activate her Byakugan to keep an eye out. Luckily no one who didn't already know of her Kekkei Genkai could see her use it. Wish I could talk to Naruto about this opportunity, but with Isaribi-chan so close I don't think I should, Hinata quickly commented in her head. The opportunity she had in mind was telling the other girls about Naruto's need for multiple women since they were all in the same place together. A better chance would probably never come along. What the hell, if she hears us talking she might actually support the idea. And it might get her what she wants too. "Hey, Naruto-kun," she whispered into his ear to catch his attention. "Yes, Hina-chan?" he replied somewhat above a whisper. "While we're here on this mission, do you think we ought to tell everyone about your situation?" Hinata asked. Naruto gave the aforementioned team a quick glance before answering. "It might be a good idea. But should we do it before or after the mission is over?" "What situation, Naruto-kun?" Isaribi asked, pretty sure she knew which one but choosing to play innocent. Something the Sannin told me about that's kind of difficult to just come out and say," Naruto nervously answered. "Is there anything I can do to help you with it?" Isaribi asked, trying her hardest to pretend to be unaware. Her blush wasn't helping. "That depends. You might not like it once you hear it, and if I'm okay with it?" Naruto wasn't expecting that response, so he thought over it and sighed. "Then I would love to have you help me out." Isaribi turned so he couldn't see her blush or perverted grin. "Bingo. That's all the invitation I need." Once they reached land and continued to Tsunade and Inari's hometown, the area felt unhostile, so they didn't move in a hurry. However, they did avoid any main roads and stuck to moving within the forest and treetops. Years of being told to be as secretive and discreet as possible when on missions created such behavior in Oto Ninja. At the moment they were on the ground for the sake of their clients. The summoned snakes quickly left the area since they didn't feel needed anymore. After about 20 minutes of moving, Anko and Kurenai came to a stop, making the rest of their group stop as well. "Listen. You guys hear that?" All ears strained to catch any unusual noise. At first all they could hear were normal forest sounds, but a subtle note of metal hitting metal could be heard to a few of the genin. "Sounds like a fight's going on," Sasami stated. "Hinata, check it out," Anko ordered. Said girl nodded and activated her Byakugan. What she saw made her gasp. "There's a fight east-northeast of us, and it looks like Momochi-sama is in it. Ota-san?" Haku asked, having no idea her adoptive father, whom she respected 100-fold more than her biological one, was anywhere near here. "What's he doing here?" "No idea." "Who's he fighting?" Kurenai asked. "I see him fighting one man with white hair directly, and there are 3 kids our age standing by another older man. One of the 3 kids just threw a large collapsible shuriken, but it missed Momochi-sama. All are wearing Konoha Hitayatesh," Hinata told everyone. "Damn it," Anko said under her breath. "What's the older man look like?" Tsunade asked as she pulled out a photo in one of her pockets. "Is this him?" With her Byakugan, Hinata barely needed a second to find out. "Yes, that's him." "He's your father, I'm assuming?" "Yes." "He's not in danger, is he?" Hinata shook her head. "He's guarded well, but that's only because the 3 ninja around him are just genin at best. They know they have no chance against someone like Zabuza Momochi-sama. Why is he fighting them?" Fu asked. "There's only one way to find out. We gotta get him out of the fight and come to us, but without the Konoha shinobi finding out we're here," Kurenai analyzed. "Won't that be interfering with his own mission?" Naruto asked. "I highly doubt Otakage-sama would assign us to transport these people home safely while assigning another person to kill one of their relatives," Anko told her student. "What would be the point? It would increase the risk of the client seeing the death, and we get bad publicity and risk losing future business. And besides, what threat to anyone can the old man pose? He poses a threat to Gato, that's for sure. Tsunade replied, making Inari nod. Haku took a step forward. Sensei, let me be the one to handle Ota-san. He'll be more understanding and forgiving if I'm the one who does it. Plus, I've got the necessary tools to do it without revealing our presence. Kurenai thought it over for a second, and nodded. Go right ahead, Haku. Haku reached into her pack and pulled out a mask resembling that of a Kiri hunter ninja. One of the best strategies employed by Otonin on the job in the past had been pretending to be allied to other villages while doing dirty work, thus lowering the reputation of rival villages while keeping their own unknown. Sometimes they pretended to be one of their allies to raise their reputation too. Haku generally played the role of a Kiri shinobi as a way of getting back at her birth village for what they tried to do to her. With her disguise in place, Haku went into the trees to act out her role. Hinata kept watching in case something happened to go wrong. Not that she expected it to. After all, Haku did have field experience, so she knew what she was doing. Haku perched on a branch and concealed her chakra as best she could. Nobody in her line of sight suspected a thing. She noticed that only one of the Konoha ninja was actually giving Zabuza any trouble, and that one was a white-haired man with most of his face covered. Haku arched an eyebrow when she saw him like that. The mask I can understand, but doesn't having one of his eyes covered affect his depth perception and range of vision? Since he's dripping wet, I guess that means he was caught in a water prison but somehow got out recently. And since he's the oldest, I'm going to assume he's a Jonin sensei, and those are his genin students. Waiting for the right moment, she decided to analyze the genin present as well. Wow, that pink-haired girl really stands out, even more than Naruto-kun's outfit does. And the way she's standing and watching tells me she's not really prepared for being in real shinobi situations. Probably a civilian descendant. The two boys look less shocked, so they probably come from clans. The one in blue looks like he's itching to get in the fight, but the other one seems to know to keep his distance. They all look like this is their first time out of the village and weren't expecting much to encounter. Zabuza and the Konoha Jonin both did water dragon attacks at the same time, and both looked out of breath. Now's my chance. Haku then pulled out her Senbon needles and threw them with great accuracy at a few pressure points on her adoptive father's neck. They hit their mark and he fell down. Before the Konoha Jonin could get a good look, she jumped to land behind Zabuza. Thanks for weakening him for me. I'll take it from here. She then grabbed him, and shushined the two away back towards her group before anyone could ask any questions. If that Jonin was competent in any way, he'd figure out she wasn't a real hunter nin, and she wanted to be out of there before her bluff was called. Once she got back to her allies, Haku removed the Senbon as gently as she could. Zabuza still groaned in pain. Sorry about that, but we figured you needed to get out of there. Zabuza immediately recognized her voice. What are you doing here? That's actually what we want to ask you, Anko stated, standing over the swordsman. Zabuza coughed before answering. Otakage-sama told me to come here a few days ago. Wanted me to keep an eye out for Konoha nin around the main town. Anko didn't look all that surprised. So you sent someone in ahead of us, Ji-san? Is it because you were worried about us, or do you suspect more than you told me? Knowing him, I suspect the latter. How'd you get here before us? Sasami asked. Zabuza weakly laughed, then ached. I'm a Jonin for a reason, kid. Kurenai knelt down to face him better. What can you tell us about those you were just fighting against? Not much. Other than the one competent one was apparently Konoha's copy nin Kakashi Hatake. Anko looked disturbed and then knelt down as well. Seriously? You're sure it was him? Yeah. He had a single Sharingan and mimicked all my moves trying to psych me out. Anko growled and balled up her fist. Then, surprising and frightening everyone else, she stopped and smiled. At least I finally get to kick his ass. You know the guy Nate-chan? Naruto asked. Anko nodded. Not in a good way, Otsuto. Let's just say back in Konoha he was one of those that called for your death, and he once threw a kunai at me for defending you when I was 6. She then gingerly touched her shoulder where she still had the scar from that event. Tsunade stepped forward. Sorry to say this, but if they're with my father, then that guarantees you'll be running into them at my house shortly. Try not to fight too much. We don't want to lose our home to more violent jerks. Inari practically commanded. We'll take it outside if it comes to that, kid. Anko told them, then faced everyone all together. Alright everyone, let's try to get to their home before the old man and his guards do. Naruto, think you can fly us one more time? Sorry sensei, but I'd rather conserve my strength for now. Besides, we need Tsunami-san to lead us. He answered. Okay then, so let's get moving. Bring Zabuza-san with us too so he can be treated. What will my grandpa and those ninjas say if they see you bring him to our house? Inari asked. We'll treat him elsewhere, and it would be best if either of you said a word about this. Don't want any unnecessary violence on your property, do you? Kurenai asked as she hoisted Zabuza onto Anko's back to be carried. Will you be staying at our house until this mission for you is over? Tsunami asked. Under the circumstances, I personally think it would be best if we don't. What do you guys think? Anko replied before addressing all other shinobi. I gotta agree. Housing ninja from rival villages under one roof can only bring about disaster. Kurenai added. But why do we have to be the ones to stay outside? Sasami asked. 1. We got someone who needs to recuperate without interference. And 2. We need to check around the town to see any suspicious activity involving Leaf Nin, and we can't do that if a group of Leaf Nin are aware we're here and they can keep their eyes on us. Kurenai explained. Plus, it never hurts to have a little survival training and experience thrown in. Anko commented. Now let's get going, we've wasted enough time as it is. Everyone then rushed to their destination, even the clients. About an hour later, Tazuna unlocked the door to his house and went inside, along with his ninja bodyguards. Hello? Anyone here? He called out since it sounded quieter than he expected. Tsunami poked her head out from the kitchen. Welcome back, Ota-san. Glad to see you're not hurt. How was the trip? No one suspected a thing. Well, since we can't crash at an actual house, can we get to a hotel or something? Fu asked the instructors while they walked into the woods around their client's property. I suppose we can at least look around for one. Kurenai answered. Aren't you used to sleeping outside on missions? Anko asked. Doesn't mean I'll turn down the chance to sleep indoors. The green-haired Jinchuriki replied, remembering several times back in Taki she had been forced to sleep outdoors. And besides, we've already established that there are enemy ninja in the area. Camping out will give them an opportunity to ambush us if they discover us, but staying in a hotel will thwart them lest they not care about keeping an image in the area. She's got a point. Kurenai whispered to Anko. And it would help Zabuza-san recover if he were indoors. Alright then. I'm all for a comfortable in-room too. Let's go find one. The purple-haired Jonin told her team, then faced Naruto specifically. By the way, Oturo, since Konoha is in the area now, and especially considering who's in their group, we're going to have to go with our aliases for the rest of the mission. Naruto nodded, and while the rest of his team understood, Kurenai's didn't. Aliases? Sasami asked. Yeah, it's a defense for the two of us in case we ever encountered any Konoha shinobi. Anko answered. Officially, we've been dead to them for 10 years, but there's still a chance we could run into someone who'd recognize us and figure out everything Otakage-sama set up back then was faked. This Kakashi jerk is a likely one to do that. So the two of us will use fake names to at least avoid outright exposing ourselves. So what's the new names we should know? Haku asked. We'll still go by Anko and Naruto, to make it easier on you guys and the clients. But our family name will be Urashi for the both of us. And Naruto, you'll have to hide your whisker marks. Dead giveaway. Hinata and Izuribi soon applied some makeup to Naruto's cheeks to hide his whiskers. And then everyone went to go find a hotel to check into, with Kurenai carrying the immobile Zabuza on her back. Once the group of Oto ninja went into the main town, they were pretty disturbed to see what kind of shape it was in. The heart of downtown could barely be described as better than a slum. Doors and windows of empty shops were boarded up, and those that weren't out of business yet looked like nothing short of the grace of Kami was keeping them from it. And every one of the locals gave this group some distance and cautious looks. Under the circumstances, it was entirely normal. Some locals gave the girls interested looks as well, and the fact that Naruto was the only mobile guy in the group made some feel bolder than others. One particular man, once a mediocre fisherman but a random pauper now, approached the group of shinobi. He saw the headbands but didn't recognize the music note symbol, so he figured they couldn't possibly be professional ninjas. Also, he was a bit of a sexist, so that factored into his judgment here too. Hey ladies, wanna come to my place today? You must be new to town, so I'll let you know there's few places to sleep peacefully nowadays here. Hinata and Isaribi took a step back to feel guarded by Naruto. Luckily, the other kunoichi weren't strangers to these types of situations and knew how to handle it. Anko crossed her arms and smirked. Thanks for the kind offer, but we're not staying for the night. Ah, come on, gal. It'll be worth your while. The pauper added, wiggling his eyebrows for effect. Anko acted like she was flattered. In that case, can I put a little perfume on now? Sure. Knock yourself out. Anko then pulled out a small canister. Actually, I think I'll knock you out instead. She then sprayed some pepper spray, ninja strength, at the harasser. The effect was like a bee sting right on the eye. The man screamed, clutched his eyes, and fell on the ground. Anko and the rest of the experienced kunoichi just walked past. Naruto, Hinata, and Isaribi were momentarily surprised by what they had just witnessed, but snapped out of it and caught up with the rest quickly. Nice job, sensei. Hinata whispered. Anko grinned wickedly. Remember, a kunoichi's greatest weapon is catching a man off guard and playing on his lusts. Do that, and a direct fight is unneeded. Maybe I can use that to have some time with Naruto-kun. Isaribi quickly and deviously thought just then. Please tell me that's not where we'll stay. Sasami pleaded as a rundown hotel came into view. Let's just say in the condition it was in the only guests you could expect here were vermin. I'm guessing that with the country as bad as it is, tourists don't bother coming by anymore. Kurenai stated. Although both she and Anko had already figured that out. They just wanted their students to see it, and the extent of the damage to the town for themselves. It would provide a good motivator for them later on. So it's this bad, even with Daimyo-sama providing financial aid? Hinata asked. Anko nodded. Obviously. But remember, we don't know how much money he's giving, and either way he has to do it in secret, or else Gato would just be more brutal in an effort to collect it quicker. Which is why we have to eliminate him. Naruto commented. Anko nodded. Right, but let's continue this discussion elsewhere. She quickly led everyone into a forested area and summoned several snakes to act as sort of watchdogs. And then she also activated a soundproof dome barrier to ensure no one overheard them. We can't risk what I'm about to explain being overheard by anyone. Remember, there's a chance some of the villagers here may act as eyes and ears to Gato in exchange for better treatment from him. Ninja are not the only ones we should be cautious of here. The students didn't think of that, but after hearing it, it made a lot of sense. Even if tyrants were hated, some of their victims would sell out others to better their own situations and gain approval from the tyrant. It happened a lot in history. Kurenai set down Zabuza, who remained conscious enough to hear everything, as Anko explained what she was thinking. This Gato guy is a business tycoon, not a warrior. And since he's at the top of the business, that means he's much more likely to have others do his work for him, rarely getting directly involved unless he's overcome with curiosity or thinks the job's not getting done well enough. Because of this, eliminating him isn't as easy as it sounds, because to eliminate him, we have to be in the same place he is at some time. Sasami thought out loud. Anko nodded. Exactly. Somehow, we need to draw him out, or discover his whereabouts. Sadly, the first option is the easier. If we did happen to capture one of his cronies and get him to crack, Gato most likely has a bunch of low-life thugs under his thumb, and I'm betting he has plenty of ways to get rid of them should they double-cross him. It's likely he'd be prepared for a ninja assault. Getting him to come to us puts the odds in our favor. And how do we do that? Naruto asked. Anko shrugged. I'm not so sure right now. Kurenai-chan, you got any ideas? The genjutsu expert put her chin in her hand, showing she was thinking. If we were to make it look like the bridge is about to be completed, then Gato will likely come out of hiding to personally do something about it. Remember, he wants the people here too afraid to oppose him. So by coming here when the bridge is nearly complete with the intent to destroy it, and kill some of those involved, he sends a frightful message to anyone left. The Mizukage did something similar once. Only it involved someone speaking for the rights of Kekkei Genkai wielders. Zabuza added in. Okay, since Gato should most fear the completion of the bridge, if it begins to look like a reality, he'll send hired goons to kill the construction crew, the initial planner, and demolish the structure too. If we prevent that, and even use some tricks to make it appear the bridge is getting done sooner, then he should get desperate and reveal himself. And then we kill him. Anko summarized with a smile. What about a dead man switch? Zabuza asked. None of the genin understood that, but Anko and Kurenai caught on. Oh crap, didn't think of that. Good thinking, Zabuza-san. What did he mean by that? Naruto asked. Dead man switches the term used to mean a vengeful failsafe movement. The name comes from the idea of a weapon that works when the wielder is dead. Think of a paper bomb trap that you keep wrapped around yourself, but instead of activating when you put chakra into it, it activates when you stop. Therefore, if you were to die or run out of chakra, then it explodes, destroying you and hopefully your enemies as well. Same basic principle. Anko explained. Some strategies are similar. Kurenai added. The Altos know what to do in the event the Otakage is killed and how to find the killer. They're trained for that beforehand. And if a team fails to return home, that tells the Kage of the village to send a second group to see what happened and finish the job. Gato may have some of his men prepared to do something if he were to simply vanish. Only after the bridge is complete can these people truly be safe from him. But he's not a ninja. Would he use such a tactic? Hinata asked. We should be prepared for it anyway. Kurenai answered. There is a chance we're overthinking what the enemy may have planned, but overthinking is more likely to succeed than underthinking. Naruto nodded. Okay, so we have a plan regarding our target. How does Konoha's involvement play into this? Preferably we don't interact with them at all. However, if they're here on behalf on the head of the bridge project like Tazuna told us, then that will complicate things. Anko stated with a sigh. It's likely that interacting with them will be inevitable, and to avoid any unnecessary conflict, we can't interfere with their mission or fight them unprovoked. To the genin it sounded obvious enough, but there was something they didn't quite grasp. If there was a fight and Konoha could effectively place the blame on Oto, then they might be able to declare war on the village. They might not, as Oto was hidden from them and too small to be too much of a threat, but if by chance Konoha did try, then it would cause trouble. Also, Konoha would seek out their allies to help find Oto, which would ultimately reveal Tsunade's and Taki's real alliances, which could end up sparking the Fourth Great Ninja War. So in the long run, as long as they didn't make any malicious moves towards the Konoha shinobi, they could remain living the way they liked. But in the event these Konoha nin made the first move, then the Oto shinobi could retaliate justifiably. Although even then Konoha might try and do something back. And what do we do if they won't do the same? Isaribi asked, already sure of the answer but wanting confirmation. The same thing we do to any enemy, fight back. Anko answered. Okay, now that that's covered, let's set up a base camp. Kurenai told everyone. We should go deeper into the woods to make it less likely to get company. Also, with Zabuza-san here incapacitated, someone will have to remain with him at all times until he recovers. So somewhere where our enemies would be unlikely to go to is obviously preferable. It didn't take them long to find a good enough spot. Open enough that they could set up tents, but discreet enough that only someone trying to get there would. There was no fresh water in the immediate area, but it could be gotten with a 20-minute walk north. That night everyone went to sleep in their tents, with Naruto and Zabuza sharing while two people took guard shifts for 3 hours throughout the night. It was rather uneventful, which was a good thing for now. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.